Hello everyone and welcome back to another Marvel Crisis Protocol, and today for you we have a 17 threat match of the Web Warriors going up against the old school Cabal, although the list is also... it's as close to a Hydra list as you can get until they're an official faction, but we'll get more into that in a second. Thank you very much for the support on these. Please do continue to show it if you want to see more in the future. And with that, let's get started with a look at the teams. So here is our 17 threat of Web Warriors, being led by Miles Morales Spider-Man, backed up by Peter Parker Spider-Man. Then we also have Venom, Ghost Spider, Gwen Stacy, and then finally, just mentoring them all I guess, we have Tony Stark, Iron Man. And their tactics cards, as you can see here, all webbed up, web barrier, reversal, field dressing, and all you've got. And this is our Cabal list, as close to a Hydra list as you can get, until they add, well, Bob Agent of Hydra is coming, and Atomic Mass Games teased, maybe Sin, which is Red Skull's daughter, and the Hydra assassin whose name I always forget. Either way, Red Skull is leading this list. We have Baron Zemo, we have sometimes Hydra Agent Winter Soldier, we have Crossbones, and then they have a big robot because they wanted it. And his tactics cards for the team: Cosmic Invigoration, Inspiring Monologue, The Age of Ultron, Extreme Conditioning, and Brace for Impact. And you probably already saw the icons on the map, but here are the two missions being played. The Extraction, which is the point value being played. Spider-Infected, Invade Manhattan. One of the core box missions, so there's 5 Spider-Infected, you can only hold one at a time, and then during the power phase, if you roll a crit, wild, or a hit, you get moved by the opponent small to get put into a worse position. 1 victory point for each one your team is holding. And then the other one, the Secure, was Demons Downtown has our comeuppance come due, so there's 3 flaming portals in the same locations as the Gamma Shelters would be. You score 1 victory point for each one you're securing, but if you are securing during the power phase, you also get Incinerate, which is 1 less defense die, so that's pretty bad. So the Spider-Infected are basically there, and in the middle it should be right on top of the portal, but just for ease of viewership it's put to the left. And again, the portals are exactly where the Gamma Shelters would be. So we'll see which side is going on which side of the table and be back at deployment. So we are set up with both teams deployed, kind of staring each other down Civil War style. I was going to say Hydra, not yet, but soon. The Cabal are on your left, and the Web Warriors are on your right, and it will be the Web Warriors going first, so we can just take a look at their lineup. As I say, it's only Venom off on his own, the rest are in a line, and then pretty much just a line over here for the Cabal, ready to charge up the table and start causing some trouble. So with that, we can get the game underway. So Miles Morales got this match started, and he double medium moved directly into the centre and spent his 1 power to pick up the Spider-Infected that was there. He decided to charge in and grab that, one because it swings the points if each team gets equal Spider people, but also because he's got stealth, so hopefully no one will be able to do like a jammy double shot. If they get moved by, for instance, Red Skull, they'll have to come and get him, and that reduces the number of attacks he'll potentially have to weather. However, he is also within one of the central portal. He can't claim it because he's only got 1 power, and that does mean he'll be getting a free Incinerate for his trouble at the start of the next turn, just because he's so close to it regardless. So first up for the Cabal was Red Skull, although just a quick correction, what am I talking about? You don't roll to claim portals, you just have to be the one securing them. So he is technically securing the portal in the middle, Miles. So anyway, Red Skull tapped the cube for 3 power, you roll 5 dice for every skull you take damage, so he took 1 damage on his person. He then spent that 3 power to teleport the Winter Soldier forwards 2, to give him a bit of ground on Miles over there. And then just for his other proper action, because tapping the cube is action, he medium moved, so he's within 1 of this flaming portal. Iron Man was next up. He moved medium for his first action, so that he was within 1 of the Spider-Infected who was there, paid his 1 power to pick it up, and then didn't do a full second medium move to get where he is. That's about 2/3. He couldn't get within 1 of the portal anyway, so he just opted to stay a little bit back in case the spider makes him scatter small towards threats next turn. Ultron activated. He flew up with his larger base medium move next to the Spider-Infected, paid his 1 power to pick it up, and then also making use of his medium-sized base, he moved over here for his second action, and he is teetering on the edge here. This crater is going to be a constant problem during this match. He is teetering on that edge of the crater, but that does still put him within 1, so he is now contesting the middle flaming portal with Miles. So also on the same size base as Ultron, Venom activated, but he only moves small, so he was a bit limited. He moved and grabbed the Spider-Infected for his 1 power, and then he did another move to where you can see him next to the street lamp there. He's not backing down from a fight, but he couldn't really get far enough forwards to do much else. The Winter Soldier was next up, and remember he was size 2 further forwards thanks to the Red Skull. So he moved medium to be on that side of the Spider Infected that was there. He paid his 1 power to pick it up. He still wasn't within 3 to shoot Miles. He could have shot Venom at range 5 for his normal assault rifle range, because Venom doesn't have stealth, but it didn't seem worth it, so instead he just medium moved to help secure the middle to try and get his side another point. Because, well, I think Ghost Spider could probably reach there if she's not wanting to do anything else, but let's see. So yeah, Ghost Spider was indeed able to make it with a 1.5 long move, just fitting in there barely, and that does mean again that it's a draw between 2 healthy characters on each side for that middle portal. Baron Zemo also moves long, so does Spider-Man, but because of where Baron Zemo is, it isn't likely he'll be able to fit in thanks to Ultron being there. Spider-Man, if he needed to, I guess technically could, but then he'd be abandoning that portal, so either way it's 1 victory point swing. Crossbones definitely is not making it, so yeah, I think that's probably going to be a neutral portal at the end of the turn. Crossbones moved up to secure the closest to their deployment zone flaming portal. That's going to let his boss get in there a little bit and cause some problems next turn, and he's just going to sit there and punch anyone that comes to try and claim it. So faced with 1 point or 1 point, Spider-Man did the obvious thing and just camped the back objective as well, so he's claiming that flaming portal, and it is over to Baron Zemo to end off battle round 1. So Baron Zemo activated and he moved long twice to shoot up the table, going after Venom on the other side of that car there. So that does also mean that we're going to be doing the cleanup phase and then crossing over to battle round 2. The special effects for both threats being played, or both missions being played, all happen in the power phase, but one could mean that the other doesn't happen, because people holding Spider Infected or move small, that could potentially move them away from a portal during the power phase, which is also when Incinerate is given by the portals. So I'm not sure if there's a rule in the rulebook that says like the secure goes first or the extraction goes first. Because the Spider Infected is the card being played in terms of threat value, that's going to proc first. So we'll just handle that in the cleanup phase as well. We'll move people away. Anyone who's still within 1 of a portal will be incinerated, but that happens after scoring either way, so it's not going to affect the scoring, it's just whether or not it affects the incinerate. So at the end of battle round 1 / going into battle round 2, the Web Warriors have 3 of the Spider Infected, and 2 of them were moved. I think, yes, Iron Man was moved there, Miles Morales was moved there. Yes, that happens in the power phase, we're just covering all right now. But they still scored first, so that's 3 for the Spider Infected, 1 for a portal at the back here, which is also incinerated Spider-Man. So that's 4, and Gwen and Ultron have been incinerated as well, claiming the middle place there as well. And the Winter Soldier got moved, and so did Miles, as previously said, but they were also there, but they got moved first, so the incinerate doesn't affect them. They the Cabal have 2 of the Spider Infected, and they have their back portal. So as we go into battle round 2 with the Web Warriors still going first, it is 4 playing 3, and oh yes, and obviously those 2 at the back there were also incinerated. Miles Morales Spider-Man got battle round 2 started for the Web Warriors, and man did he have a good turn. So he started there after the Spider Infected scrambled in his arms and moved him there. He did a webline kick, which is range 3, on Baron Zemo, and he got a wild, so it includes a throw before damage is dealt. So he kicked him, or weblined him, into the car, so it only did 1 damage, and then the impact from the car also did 1 damage. He then, with the power generated from that, did a webline to get out of there, so he's placed within 3 for 2 power. So he didn't go the full 3, he went right there. It also adds 2 dice to your next webline kick, and he rolled a bunch of crits when he attacked the Winter Soldier with it. Also included a wild, so he got chucked into the lamppost here, which I just realised should also have destroyed the lamppost, because the lamppost is smaller than him. It did 5 damage, plus 1 for the impact for 6, only needed to do 5, that is an insta-daze on the Winter Soldier. He drops his Spider Infected, there was no point putting it over here, because Miles is holding 1 already, and so is Venom, and you can only hold 1. So it's been put closer, as I knocked down another lamppost, it's been put closer to Spider-Man, but it is just sitting on the field. But yeah, Winter Soldier is not getting an activation in battle round 2. Ultron activated next, and oh boy are the rolls doing well on each side, although obviously Incinerate is playing a part in this particular interaction. He did his Energy Blast on Gwen and did 5 damage for an insta-daze, also generating a lot of power for both of them. Then he used his Kinetic Field Barrier to pick up the car there, because it's size 3 or less. It counts as size 3 because it was a bit big. Chucked it at Iron Man. Iron Man didn't do so great. He took 3 damage, reduced to 2 because of the invincible Iron Man roll, which reduces damage by 1. And he stood still. He didn't shake his Incinerate though, so he is still mildly on fire. Venom activated, and for his first activation he moved small, well, less than his small distance, on top of the car, and then he initiated an attack on Baron Zemo. A defense roll was not even required. I want to come over here and show you the roll. That's the roll. That's the roll right there. So it's a very swingy game of dice today, it seems. The Red Skull activated and moved medium to get himself contesting that middle one. Well, actually claiming it right now because Gwen is dazed. He then spent one on a Cosmic Blast, which saps power for every wild, and he had 3 wilds, so he just stole all of Spider-Man's power, and then also smacked him for 2, obviously the Incinerate taking away defense die there, which made it a little difficult to avoid damage. So Peter Parker, Spider-Man activated. He moved ever so slightly so he could pay 1 power to pick up the Spider-Infected that was there. And when I said all his power was stolen via sap power, sap happens before the damage, so the damage he took still gave him power, so that's how he still had something to spend to do that. And then for his other action he shifted ever so slightly. Actually no he didn't, he's exactly where he was. His other action was to remove the Incinerate and forgot to remove the icon, never mind. So, because the Spider Infected was there, which would have been one between 1 each. So yes, okay, so that's what it was, sorry. He did not just shuffle again, he moved and then removed his Incinerate, because he didn't have enough power to web pool. So now it's over to Crossbones or Zemo. So Baron Zemo did indeed activate. He did a charge, that's a move and a basic strike in 1, and he rolled very well. He did 4 damage to Miles with that, so he was originally going to move to contest this portal just to be annoying, but sensing that there was a moment of weakness over here, did a Master Swordsman for 2 power, other basic strike. It only did 1 damage, but that was enough to daze Miles, so then he also spent one of the power he just generated dealing so much damage to pick up the civilian that Miles was carrying. So Zemo's now got one. He's surrounded by enemies, well, I guess Winter Soldier will get him next turn as well. But yeah, he did well there. So now it's over to Iron Man as the final activation for the Web Warriors this turn. So Tony spent 3 power, which is way too expensive for what it does, on Friday AI to add 2 dice to his next attack. He moved and then he did a Repulsor Blast on Red Skull. There was 1 success in the attack roll, which was easily blocked. So no damage. And we are just going to be at the end of the turn because Crossbones wants to obviously claim that back portal. No point shaking the Incinerate because it's about to reapply. I guess he could move forward slightly in case he wants to do something over there. But other than that, we're straight into the cleanup. So then the battle round 2, the Web Warriors still managed to barely hold on to 3 civilians of the 5 available for 3 victory points, and they held their back portal, this one over here, for 1. So a total of 4 victory points gained. The Cabal have 2 of the Spider Infected and 2 of the portals, the central and their home one, for also, that's 2, 3, 4 as well. So as we go into battle round 3 with the Web Warriors still going first, the Web Warriors are still managing to stay just a point ahead at 8 versus 7 I should say. And in terms of Incinerate, Spider-Man re-incinerated. Ultron was moved by the Spider Infected he's holding, Venom was moved by the Spider he's holding, and everyone else stayed put. And obviously Gwen, Miles, and the Winter Soldier are all flipping their cards. Miles Morales Spider-Man once again got a turn started and he was busy. It began with all webbed up for 3 power, so any Web Warrior can play this. Any enemy characters within 3 of him suffer the slow condition, and any Web Warriors that attack a character with slow this round add 2 dice to the attack roll. It caught Baron Zemo, Winter Soldier, and the Red Skull from where he was. He then did a Venom Blast on Baron Zemo. It did 4 damage, it only needed to do 3, and also would have made him drop his objective anyway, but he's dazed, so it doesn't matter. So Miles also paid 1 to snatch up that civilian after, well, Spider Infected. After Zemo dropped in, he won't be getting a turn. Then he spent power for a web line to move within 3, which placed him there. He then did a basic attack on the Winter Soldier, which included a wild, which also means he could throw him. So it did 2 damage, plus 1 for the throw is 3, and that's with the extra dice. And presumably the extra dice from all webbed up is in addition to the extra dice the web line has from doing a move first, from spending that superpower, because it adds in 2 as well, which turned the basic strike into like an 8 die attack. So actually he got off lucky considering how many it was. Either way, good turn. The Winter Soldier activated and first of all spent 2 on Hydra tactics, so an ally within 2 he is placed within 1, and that got him within 2 of Miles, so he could do his Red Fury, which is a 7 physical attack, includes a push, and then afterwards does a follow-up assault rifle attack. He did very well. If we come around this side of the table now, he pushed Miles back. He did 2 damage with the initial attack on the lots of dice, and then his rubbish 4 physical assault rifle attack, did really well and did 4, but that was much more than was required, and Miles is gone, as is the Web Warrior affiliation bonus, which would help, or was helping. As a result of everything that happened there, Spider-Man spent 2 to do a reactive reversal. After an attack that targeted an allied character is resolved, another allied character within 3 of the attacking character, he is within 3 of the Winter Soldier, spends 2, roll 4 dice, deal 1 damage to them for each crit or wild. There was only 1 wild, so the Winter Soldier's taking 1. He's on 4, he's taken 4 damage of the 6 on his wounded side. But yeah, Miles is gone. Gwen activated, and although she did not move, she did a lot. She did a freestyle beatdown, normally 6 physical, but thanks to hitting Red Skull, who was slowed up to an 8 die, it did 4 damage with a wild, which also includes a throw, so she kicked him into the dumpster for the extra damage. 5, more than enough to daze him. He wasn't carrying a civilian, so he didn't drop anything, but he's obviously no longer contesting the middle portal. She then just fired impact webbing at Ultron, and he easily blocked the damage. So nothing there. She's still holding the middle though, and Ultron's going to have to burn an action to get over there at the very least. Ultron activated and used his kinetic field generator first of all to pick up the caravan size 3 and chuck it at Gwen, and she whiffed her dodge roll and took 4 damage from it. He then moved medium to get into the middle portal, then did just a basic energy blast, which also did really well, 3 damage. Gwen Stacy is no more. She is gonzo. So now it's over to Iron Man or Venom. So forgive me, actually Spider-Man, as in Peter Parker Spider-Man, has not had an activation this turn yet. He used Reverso earlier, that was not part of his activation. Also, I did forget to mention, but the spider infected the Miles was holding was just dropped there because no one could pick it up. So he stayed still on his turn, and then Peter fired impact webbing at the Winter Soldier. It did 2 damage. Well, he had extra dice thrown in because of the slow, and they all webbed up, and that was enough to remove Winter Soldier from the game, so at least he got rid of someone. He then fired impact webbing at Ultron and did not get through his defense. Crossbones was the last to go this turn for the Cabal, and all he did was reposition himself so that Venom wouldn't as easily get to him, and that's it. He wants to hold that middle, and Ultron is trying to hold the center as well. So now it is over to Venom or Iron Man, well, both of them in a row, to see what they do to end off Battle Round 3. So we can cover both those activations. Iron Man moved in to contest the central portal. He tried to repulsor blast Ultron and whiffed. Well, it got blocked. Venom moved in, so he was within 1. He did a basic attack on Ultron for 2 damage, which gave him enough power to do a Clintar Rage, size 3 or less. He picked up Ultron, chucked him into the lamppost that was there. The lamppost broke because Ultron is larger than it, so it also did 1 damage. All said and done, he took 3 damage and is obviously nowhere near the middle portal, and Red Skull is dazed, so it is claimed by the Web Warriors, and that does take us to the cleanup. So despite suffering heavy losses there, the Web Warriors have pulled ahead quite far in points. Nobody was moved by the spider infected they're carrying, which is every survivor of the Web Warriors are holding one. The one on the floor over there, they couldn't pick it up, they have no one to do it because you can only hold 1. So that gave them 3 victory points. They hold the middle portal and their home portal, so that's 2 more, so they gained 5 there, taking them to 13 of the 16 needed to win. The Cabal had 1 spider infected on Ultron who was not forced to move, and they held just their home portal for 2 victory points, putting them at 9. They will be getting first activation though, and they have the numbers because Red Skull's back up and so is Baron Zemo. They're flipping their cards, but there is only 3 Web Warriors left, so keeping control of the portals is not likely. So Baron Zemo got what could very well be the final battle round started, and it's becoming a bloodbath. He did a Master Swordsman Steel Rush Charge, which burned most of his 10 power he was sitting on, to do a move that included an attack, and it was his 6-die attack with rerolls on the first attempt. It only did 2 damage, but he already had 2 damage on him, so that left him with 1 to go, and just to secure the kill he did a second Steel Rush, without rerolls this time, but it did 2 damage, and that was enough to remove Peter from the game as well. He dropped his spider infected, but no one here can pick it up currently. Red Skull can, on his turn, but Iron Man and Venom can't. So yeah, that's another casualty down. It's just Venom and Iron Man left on the field for the Web Warriors. Sorry, never mind, Peter is not dead, he's just dazed. I forgot he wasn't on his wounded side. It's been a bit of a bloodbath as previously stated, so it was just like, yeah, he's probably dead. No, he is not, he is dazed. If this ends up being the last turn, he might as well be, but for intents and purposes, he is actually still on the field, because if it goes to turn 5, he will be able to do something. Forgot to mention as well, the civilian that Peter dropped from being dazed, was picked up by Baron Zemo, so that's why he didn't pick up that one. Actually, wait, no. It can't be. No, there was one on the floor already, sorry. There was one on the floor already. He picked that one up because he was between that and that. The one Peter dropped was still put down there. Iron Man activated, and all he did for his activation was double medium move to secure the back portal and try and get as far away from threats as possible. He is claiming this because Iron Man is on his healthy side as well. Zemo is not, so he is currently controlling it, and he is holding a civvy. So that's 2 of the 3 points required for them to win if that doesn't change. So if Red Skull walks over there, he's also wounded, and he's surrounded by Ultron and Crossbones, so the best bet might instead be to go after Venom, but we'll see what happens. So knowing that Venom is very weak to energy and he's incinerated, so he's rolling 1 defense die. Red Skull unleashed the Cosmic Cube on him, 7 energy. It did 6 of his 7 HP, so he lived, and with enough power he did a counter We Are Venom and hit Red Skull for 3, which means 3 of that 6 has been healed, so it only did 3. Then he did another one, and the attack roll was abysmal. His defense roll was a crit and then into a shield, so he only took 1 damage. So all said and done, he took 4 and did 3 back to Red Skull, and it is over to Venom for the final activation for the Web Warriors, and then Ultron and Crossbones get to do something. So Venom started his activation with, forgetting that Incinerate token still needs to come with him. He did another We Are Venom, and he bit the head off of Johann Schmidt for 6 damage, fully healing himself, and because he's on his wounded side, double check this time, the Red Skull has been removed, as is the Cabal affiliation bonus generating power on dealing damage. 1 bonus power. So then for his other action, he just moved small to put himself on that side of the crater. And now it comes down to what is the best move for the Cabal, because Crossbones wants to claim that portal for a point. Ultron can contest this, so nobody scores, but if things stay the same, 3 points will score. I knocked over the lamppost again. 3 points will score, and the Web Warriors win anyway. The only way for him to stop that is to move to contest, and then with a single energy-based attack, roll a lot of crits and kill Venom. So let's see what happens. So Crossbones just did where he was. Ultron moved in for his first action. He did his energy blast, and it did an impressive 4 damage. Didn't even bother countering because he didn't want to feed him any more power by hitting him. So then he could only use a kinetic field generator to pick up the size 2 dumpster, so potential 3 damage coming in, which would have been enough to daze him. Chucked it at Venom. It's on his physical though, not his 1 defense die, so it's 4 down to 3. He blocks 2 of the damage, so he still took 2, but that's 4, 5, 6 of the 7 on his healthy side. So he stayed standing, and that does mean that is game. So that said, at the end of Battle Round 4, the Web Warriors have exactly enough to win because Venom and Iron Man are both holding on to a Spider Infected for 1 point each. The middle portal is contested, no points, but Iron Man is on his healthy side, Baron Zemo is not, so he is controlling the back portal for 1 victory point, and that puts him exactly on the 16 required to win. Now the Cabal, they didn't do too badly. Red Skull didn't get the chance to go pick up a Spider Infected because he was so focused on trying to kill Venom and failing, despite him only having 1 energy dice for defense. But Ultron was holding 1 for a point, Baron Zemo was holding 1 for a point, and the back portal was being held by Crossbones, which I think put them on 12 or 13. One of the two. Either way, it was a close match. In the long term, the Cabal were definitely winning this because Venom was about to get dazed. Spider-Man isn't super strong and he was flipping his card. Iron Man had 3 health left on his healthy side, I think. So they were winning the war, taking casualties as well. But when it comes down to points, it was the Web Warriors that took it despite losing their leader. Interesting match, very bloody, very annoying with these craters here. Won't do that again for Crisis Protocol. But anyway, sincerely hope you enjoyed. Please do remember to show your support, as I said at the top of the video. And there will be another one soon on a new map. Until then, ta-ta for now.